Yeah.
Let's go, Brian.
Shout out Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart, Brian Divisions. Yeah. We ain't need no 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, that's unlikely. We in 5D, the fifth dimensional reality. No 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, that's unlikely. We in that 5D, that fifth dimensional reality. Yeah, I don't need no 5G because I live in 5D. I don't need new towers, I just need more of them pine trees. So when I kick it, then you know just where you'll find me. And if you ask, then you know just what the time be. It's now. I'm in the present, in the clouds, with both feet on the ground. To Mother Gaia, connecting to the source all around. These waters also infinite, frequencies all surround. Enter and exit my cells through the miracle of sound. But I prefer the natural vibes of those from Cell Tower. Yeah, why so quick to roll it out with no test on its true power? Maybe you should just take your time, give it more than just an hour, and think about the effect you can cause, so don't hide or cower. But we know why, it's the need to constantly progress. Money, power, and success, fear there won't be crumbs left if you're not the one who doesn't win the war or conquest. And prove to the world that you simply you are the best. But the real step is to get to 5D and emotionally open, true and loving light being. Not holding grudges or creating blame for fighting, but shining all your truth and light that is so blinding. Light to the darkness, let's take this time and mark this down as the first step of reaping all our harvest. Yeah, ain't it marvelous? We're all life artists, just as smart as Ralph. We're creators who all thought this. So let's unite without a fear, and bring the light to those we're near. No 5G tower can devour the connection to this planet that is always ours. 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, that's unlikely. We in 5D, the fifth dimensional reality. No 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, we in 5D. We ain't need no 5G, that's unlikely. We in that 5D, that fifth dimensional reality. Yeah.
Yikes. Deep divers, let me give a huge shout out to Brian Divisions. Oh my gosh, I always got to play that song. Shout out to everybody who's joining us in the live. Shout out to everybody who's diving deep. Shout out to Brian Divisions. I told you, deep divers, send in a song, I'm gonna play it. How's everybody doing in the chat? Deep divers, right now we're just warming up. We are just warming up. Let's have some fun, deep divers. Let's have some fun right now. Let's go. Oh, baby. Yes, shout out to everybody who's diving deep once again. Who's in the chat, deep divers? You know I always got to warm up. How's your day going, deep divers? Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. We are here, deep divers, finally. Finally. I hope everybody's day is going good. Let me get that intro right now. Let's go. Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. Beautiful deep divers, we're here. Shout out to the live stream. We're having fun. First and foremost, deep divers, if this is your first time on a live stream, where have you been? You've been missing out. You've been missing out. I want to send a huge shout out to everybody in the chat. Oh, we're going to have fun today, deep divers. I'm just warming up. Let me give a huge shout out to Nama Griffin. Super grateful for Ralph Smart. So appreciative of him for spreading the truth, spreading facts, telling it like it is, and not being bothered by anyone or anything. Shout out to you. I appreciate that. Once again, deep divers, it's time for gratitude. Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me just breathe in that good ass prana, baby. Sending you tons of good ass energy today, deep divers. Take that. The cat down the road said it loves you, deep divers. The chosen ones must see this. Shout out to all the chosen ones. Okay, shout out to all the deep divers. Shout out to everybody who is on their spiritual journey right now. Shout out to everybody who's going through a massive awakening right now. Okay. Kimberly, Brotherhood of Light, Sisterhood of Light. I appreciate you, 1313. Let's go. Wenifer 19, I appreciate you. Random Girl, shout out to you. I'm just giving a shout out to all the deep divers who've been diving deep. So the chosen ones must see this. Right now, with everything that's happening on the planet, I told you, you're going to start to see a huge split between 3D and 5D. And that's what's happening right now. There's a huge split between 3D and 5D. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? Now, I often speak about chosen ones. What is a chosen one? Who is a chosen one? I've been chosen my whole life. I've known I was the chosen one, right? From the moment I was born, I knew I was the chosen one. But I'm not exclusive, you know. It's not exclusive to me. There are many other chosen ones. And a chosen one is an individual who remembers, keyword remembers, who they are. Who remembers who they are. Who remembers who they are. You see, right now, with everything that's happening on the planet, a lot of us, we forget who we really are. And this is the big issue with the planet. This is the big problem with human beings as a species, is that we've got a very short-term memory. We forget that we're living in a universe of change. And this is what all the ancients knew, right? Let's go back to ancient Egypt, right? Because this is a thumbnail cover, right? This is what they knew. We live in a flash of light. That's what they knew. Shout out to everybody who's joining us on this live stream right now. I told you, deep divers, I'm here for you. This show is not me. This show is not about me. It's about you. If you've got a question, let me know. If you want to say something, let me know, because we're live right now. Let me give a huge shout out. Huge shout out to everybody who's joining us right now. So, the ancients knew something a lot of people don't know. Beautiful chaos. I appreciate that. First time here, and I know here is where I need to be. Absolutely. Absolutely. Where else do you want to be right now? Where else do you want to be right now? Let me give a huge shout out to everybody who's here. Mrs. Owens, I appreciate you sending light and love to a very bright light. Appreciate you, Ralph. I appreciate that. Shout out to you. Give thanks. Deep divers, give thanks. Give thanks. So many amazing people on this live stream right now. So, the chosen ones are those who remember who they really are. And a lot of us, we forget. I almost forgot. You see, deep divers, there would be no infinite waters, because I was ready to dive headfirst into the matrix, into the corporate world, because I was in a state of amnesia. A chosen one is a being who remembers who they are wholeheartedly. Going back to past lives, they realize they are a spiritual being having a human experience. When you realize you're a spiritual being having a human experience, everything changes. One of the big things that changes is that there's no more fear. You see, a lot of people, because they only connect with their physical body, when there's something like COVID-19, they get scared. They think the big bad wolf is coming to get them. So long as you are just living in the 3D, you will always be governed by fear. You will always be governed by your lower nature. You will always be governed by emotions which don't serve you. And this is why there's a great awakening happening. Shout out to everybody who's just joining us. The chosen ones must see this. You see, a lot of people are waking up out of the amnesia, the deep sleep. Goodness gracious, you've been asleep for so long, and now people are starting to wake up. It took the so-called pandemic, right, to wake a lot of people up about what's really going on in this matrix. Because I told you, right now, the world is moving into, you guessed it, COVID-19 84. So you have to remind yourself right now, it's a wake-up call from the universe. It's a wake-up call from the universe. You see, deep divers, I already knew what was coming many years ago. That's why I was getting you ready. Any video you've seen of me, I was just getting you ready for what was coming on the planet. Because 2020 is actually 2012. I keep telling you that. 2020 is actually 2012. The Mayan calendar ended December 21st, 2012. The Ethiopian Orthodox calendar is 2012 right now. We have to remind ourselves that the ending that you see is what all civilizations went through. What you are seeing before your eyes is the collapse of an entire civilization, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. It's inevitable. This system is falling. This system is collapsing. Why? Because its time is up. What? Slow motion this side. Why? Because its time is up. You see, I told you, deep divers, we often think that everything that's going on is because human beings caused it. Anything that you see in this reality, nothing can happen in this reality without the universe ordaining it. No one human being is that powerful. There are other forces at work which always have the last word, because there are no accidents or coincidences in this universe. Everything is happening in divine order. Everything that's happening on the planet right now is happening for a reason. It has to happen because the lions are waking up. Right? The lions are waking up, deep divers. You see, a lot of people right now are getting an awakening because of everything that's happening. A lot of people right now are like, gosh, Ralph, I can't take it anymore on the planet. They got vaccinations. They got face masks. You see, this is causing people to question what is going on. Because you do know face masks aren't going anywhere. They want you to have face masks for the rest of your life. And I want to give a huge shout out to all the chosen ones who are starting to wake up and realize, they're starting to realize right now that it's only going to get worse in the Matrix. Because this is the end game. These are the end times events. Wildfires in California, Oregon. What's happening to the planet? The planet is cleansing itself. What? Slow motion this side. So chosen ones, I want to remind you, like I'm reminding myself, this is a purge that's happening. Mother Nature is cleansing itself from everything, including human beings, because we have become a cancer on the planet. We have killed the rainforests. We kill over 64 billion animals every single year. Scientists tell us that by 2050, there will be no fish left in the ocean if people continue to fish the way they're fishing. We're approaching the 6th mass extinction. So I told you, COVID-19 is only a symptom. Let me repeat that. COVID-19 is only a symptom. And there are going to be many more viruses on the planet until human beings realize this is a wake-up call, right? But I want to say a huge shout out to all the chosen ones, because like I said, a lot of people, they started to unplug from the Matrix. You see, this system, let's go to the Matrix right now, is built on a pack of lies. And a lot of chosen ones, when I went through my awakening deep divers, I started to realize what the Matrix really was. See, I was in the system. I used to work 12 hours a day. I was there every single day. Then I said, wait a minute. This is a big scam. And when you realize everything in this system is a scam, history is a lie, media is manipulation, government is a corporation, money is a hoax, debt is a fiction, religion is a control system. All of these things keep people trapped in the 5 sense reality, in the Matrix. That's why when they're locking down the whole planet, deep divers, a lot of people, they just say, well, what can we do? Not the chosen ones. The chosen ones are standing up saying, we ain't having it. What? Slow motion this side. Shout out to everybody in the chat, deep divers. I told you, this is not about me. This is about everybody diving deep right now. Give thanks, deep divers. Give thanks, give thanks. Let me give a huge shout out to everybody in the chat. Like I say, deep divers, if you've got a question, a comment, drop it in there. Let me go to Estevan Rodriguez, right? Estevan Rodriguez. Peace, love, and prosperity, beautiful humans. Wonderful. I appreciate you, Estevan. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You know. This is really for a lot of people, because a lot of people sometimes feel alone. You know, a lot of people sometimes feel alone. And the awakening can be a time where you do feel alone. But that's the path of every single chosen one. What? Slow motion this side. That's the path of every single chosen one. Do you know why when you see Buddha, he's always alone? Because that's the gateway to enlightenment. You have to leave the crowd behind. The crowd which represent the sheep are the distraction. The crowd encourage you to acquiesce. And a lot of people who are starting to wake up are removing themselves from the crowd. They're starting to open their arms. They're starting to find out who they really are. And this is why, deep divers, I'm excited. I'm excited right now. Shout out to all the deep divers in the chat. You are appreciated. Holly MacLean, love and light to all. I appreciate you. You are appreciated, Holly. Regina 1111, I appreciate you. Mega, shout out to you. One thing I want to tell you, deep divers, is that as they are locking down the planet for a lot of people, you have to hold on to your freedom. You've got to hold on to your freedom, because being free is your birthright. And chosen ones know this. Deep divers know this. How come a lot of other people don't? You see, a lot of chosen ones have always known they were different. Always known they were different. And I'm here to tell you, chosen ones, that your intuition, your clairvoyance is a gift. Let me give a huge shout out to everybody in the chat. I love loving you. I appreciate you. Yes. Kevin Howard, I appreciate that. Shout out to you, Kevin Howard. Love what you're doing. Royal Dream, shout out to you. Let me give a huge shout out to everybody who's leaving an offering. And everybody in the chat. Kevin Howard, I appreciate that offering. Shout out to you. You know, one thing I've realized, deep divers, and this is what I always tell you about manifestation as well, chosen ones. You see, by me just being myself and sharing, I'm manifesting every single day. We are the last ones left. Those who really have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Those who really are starting to see that there are worlds within worlds. I keep telling deep divers this, right? There are worlds within worlds. A lot of people say, Ralph, I remember you from ancient Egypt, right? Past lives business, right? Well, that's because that's how it is. You see, chosen ones, when I started to wake up, when I started to realize I was the chosen one, when I started to realize that there are levels of consciousness, I've spoken about this before. John, I appreciate that. Much gratitude to you, Ralph. I appreciate you. I've spoken about the levels of consciousness. And this is why on the planet right now, there are people who are going within themselves, who are meditating, who are finding that truth inside of themselves. But at the same time, there are other people who are living in fear. There are other people who just accept. They don't question anything. There are other people who say, hey, I can't wait for a vaccine. So you have to remind yourself that the reason why everybody is seeing what's happening on the planet in a different way is because everyone has a different level of consciousness, a different level of awareness. Many souls who have incarnated on this planet are new souls. In other words, their memory got deleted the moment they were born. They only see everything they're learning in this current reality. However, the chosen ones come in with information. And this is key to know why some people are saying we ain't having it, and to know why some people are blindly accepting everything that's happening. I want to say, if you noticed something was fishy, congratulations. I was in a fruit market, deep divers. I appreciate that. 222 Stella. Shout out to you. Shout out to Stella. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I was in a fruit market, deep divers. Let me give a huge shout out to these deep divers in the chat. Right? CC Mora. I appreciate you. Gratitude for your daily motivation and knowledge. I appreciate you, CC. I appreciate everybody here in the chat. So I want to remind you, as I was saying, Stella's own 22. Woo! I appreciate you. You know, that's why I always say, deep divers, I'm here for you. Because I know I can always count on deep divers to do a little samba, baby. I'm in a good mood, deep divers. I'm in a good mood. Because I know right now, this is the greatest time to be alive. I'll tell you why as this live chat goes on. I want to send a huge shout out to everybody who's just joining us. $1 trillion woman, shout out to you. I appreciate all of you. I was in a fruit market, deep divers. I was in a fruit market. This was when COVID-19 broke out, okay? And when I was in the fruit market, I saw one woman and I said, hey, do you believe this is real? Okay. And she's like, no, I don't. I think they're all playing us for fools, right? I like to ask people questions. That was back then. That was a few months ago. And the reason why it's so essential, like really talk to people in this matrix even, like ask them questions. And you're going to start to find people who are knowing this whole thing is a big joke. that's going on. This whole lockdown, these curfews in Australia, an absolute joke. They're playing us like a fiddle. But as well, when you talk to some other people, they're going to start to say, hey, believe everything you're told. COVID-19 is real. Wear a face mask 24/7. So when you realize it's got everything to do with awareness level, everything to do with awareness level. Shout out to all the chosen ones. Big Man 24, I appreciate you. Good luck to everyone. And remember, you are where you're supposed to be right now. Absolutely. Thank you, Big Man 24, for that. Good luck to everyone. And remember, you are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. I'm supposed to be here. Let me give a round of applause for that comment, because like I say, a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people do not realize that. A lot of people don't realize you are exactly where you need to be. Other people who see everything going on as real, they're exactly where they need to be, because there are levels to this. And if you realize that secret, you realize right now you have to connect with your tribe. You see, there's a reason why millions of people can get manipulated on the planet. One of the reasons is because, like I said, memory has been erased of who they really are. As a chosen one, you know exactly who you are before you come here. You see, in ancient Kemet, if you don't know what the word Kemet means, it's the actual original name for ancient Egypt. I've been to the Great Pyramids of Giza. And when you go there, you start to realize that the beings who built the pyramids knew exactly who they were. They had knowledge of self, and they were the chosen ones. Now, living in this matrix world, a lot of people, we forget. Let's just say that we forget, even chosen ones, they forget as well, because you are living in a world where they don't want you to wake up at all. In fact, when you wake up, it's their worst nightmare. I told you, what did I say in the 2019 prediction video? What did I say? Not only did I predict this whole pandemic in 2019, that's on record, just watch the video. I predicted it word for word. Jewel, let me give a huge shout out to Jewel in the house. Osara, I appreciate you. I got so much love for everybody in the chat. Deep divers were just warming up. Huge shout out to Jewel. Let me give a huge shout out to Jewel. Hi, Ralph. Thanks for all that you do. I appreciate you, Jewel. And she's coming in on the 11/11. Oh, baby. She's coming in on the 11/11. She's coming in on the 11/11. She's coming in on the 11/11.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah, shout out to Jules. Shout out to you, Asar, as well. The Traveler, thank you. I appreciate that. Shout out to Asar, the Traveler. I appreciate you, brother. You are appreciated. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Gratitude, deep divers. Give thanks. So, I told you in the 2019 video that a lot of people, specifically I said, a lot of mainstream artists are going to start to wake up. I told you that in 2019. Because the programming is going to start to break down. And you've seen it. A lot of artists right now are saying, hey, I need my masters. Because as a chosen one, you realize that you have to be the master of your own reality. What? Slow motion this side. Right? A lot of mainstream artists are starting to wake up. They're starting to go back into nature. Why? Because they're also realizing they have a higher purpose than just dumbing down the public. So we have to remind ourselves we're living in amazing times right now on the planet. Amazing times right now on the planet. You see, chosen ones aren't just meditating. A lot of chosen ones are in society, sports stars, in the entertainment industry, teachers. But a lot of us in this matrix, we've been playing roles. Like Shakespeare said, the whole world is a stage. And a lot of us, we believed so much who the matrix told us that we were. We believed that we were these jobs. I got to go to work on a Monday morning, right? And this is why right now on the planet, a lot of people are starting to stop exactly what they're doing and say, what on earth have I been doing for most of my life, right? You see, that's what happened to me as a chosen one. I had to press pause on my life. You see, when I realized it was all a waste of time, you see, it was all a waste of time, but on purpose. There was another guy in university with me. You know, I graduated deep divers, even though I had a student loan. And that's how I know so much about the system. There was a guy who was in second year. Shout out to everybody diving deep. Deep divers, I'm here for you. We got so much to talk about. Oh, baby. Or as I say, we got a whole lot to talk about. Let me give a huge shout out to 33 in the house. E3333. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Woo! You're coming in on my numbers, baby. Let's go galactic right now. 3333. Shout out to you. Much love, Ralph. Just like Stevie Wonder's song, as change your words into truths and then change that truth into love. What? Slow motion this side. Say it again, Ralph. Let's go back, deep divers. Much love, Ralph. Just like Stevie Wonder's song, as change your words into truths and then change that truth into love. I'll be loving you and everyone in this chat always. What? Deep divers. You see, this is why I do the Instagram lives. So much good energy, so much high vibrations. And that's what it's all about. We got to remind ourselves to keep the vibration high right now on the planet. We got to remind ourselves to keep the frequency high right now on the planet. You know, shout out to everybody in the chat. So I realized this, you know, being in the system, that a lot of people, do not realize that the system seeks to take away your time. That's all. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Now that's huge. The unexamined life is not worth living. That's huge. And this is what the chosen ones know. This is what I started to realize. The unexamined life is not worth living. So if you reverse that, flip it around, that means the examined life is worth living. And that's what chosen ones do. They're scientists. They study Mother Nature. They're in Mother Nature every single day, and they are connected. And this is why, shout out to all the deep divers, shout out to everyone who's on that journey. This is why right now it's over, because people are getting connected. People are getting connected to who they really are. You see, only a few ways this matrix can operate. One of the ways the matrix can operate is through deception. If I trick you, I can get you to do something I want. Also manipulation. If I manipulate you, I can get you to do something I want. Also, if I lie to you, I can get you to do something I want. But also, if I keep you in fear, I can definitely get you to do anything I want. You see, fear is an actual control mechanism in the matrix, and this is what chosen ones know. Fear, once again, is a control mechanism in the matrix. And this is why a lot of people are just doing what they're told because they are afraid. Chosen ones, however, are no longer living in fear. Fear is not on the menu. Only love is. What? Slow motion this side. And this is why it's a great time to be alive. It's a fantastic time to be alive. Because people right now are even starting to question the official story. People are starting to say, hey, I want to breathe right now. Take off your effing mask. People are starting to think for themselves. And this is why the Great Awakening is emerging. But chosen ones, deep divers, it's not always easy. It's not always easy when you are young and you have such a huge level of awareness. You know, happened to me. I woke up when I was very young, deep divers. I had my awakening when I was very young, 15, 16. And then you have pressure from your parents, friends, family. So as a chosen one, you have to remind yourself to be strong in the face of adversity. You have to remind yourself you are living in a world where most people only believe what they see on the TV. That's all they believe. They wake up, watch television, and they are only getting information from outside of themselves. Now, the difference is that the deep divers, the chosen ones, we're always getting information from ourselves. What? Slow motion this side. We're always getting information from ourselves. So I did the video about trusting yourself, and we're going to dive deep into it. Shout out to everybody who's just joining us. You know, deep divers, at a time like this, let's get a bit, let's go 80s. I'm so 80s right now, deep divers. Let's go 80s. Let's go then. Let's go then. Yes, deep divers. I had to take it there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You know, we had to raise the frequency, raise the vibration. So when we realize, deep divers, a lot of people have to go outside of themselves for the answer. Chosen ones only have to go within themselves. What? Slow motion this side. But at the same time, it can be challenging. It can be challenging to know this information if you are living in the system, if you are working in the system, if you are going to college in the system, and you know this information. So I want to remind you, when you have information, you have to do something about it. What? Slow motion this side. Holly McLean, I appreciate you so much. Love and light to all. I appreciate you. World peace. Thank you so much, Holly. I appreciate you. And Holly, I've got this for you right now. Okay. Oh, thank you. 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 The big thing right now is remembrance. And this is what I'm reminding myself of every single day. To remember, which means put things back together. Rainbow Archway, I appreciate that. 1414. Let love guide you, not fear. Absolutely. That's my mantra, deep divers. Let love guide you, not fear. Deep divers, we're just having fun. We're just having fun right now. I hope your day is going good. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And like I say, deep divers, if there's something you want to tell me, while I'm live, you better tell me right now. You better tell me right now, deep divers. Kathy Johnson, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for the offering. Tons of gratitude. You are greatly appreciated, mentor. I appreciate you, Kathy Johnson. And like I say, you know, to everybody who's diving deep, anybody who's supporting the channel, I got love for you.
Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble.
So a lot of people, and I'll only talk for myself as a chosen one.
Ready to rumble. Let's get ready to.
So a lot of people, and I'll only talk for myself as a chosen one. A lot of people are starting to realize that what's happening on the planet is happening for a reason. I spoke about Scorpio season. Shout out to all the Scorpios in the house. If you are a Scorpio, I love you automatically because I'm a Pisces, right? So the goddess Kali, you are appreciated. Shout out to you. Kwani P, I appreciate you. Scorpio season, beginning October 23rd, is the ushering in of the goddess Kali, the Hindu goddess, right? And you got to remind yourself that Kali is the goddess of sexuality, but also the destroyer of worlds. And that's what's happening right now on the planet. She is the goddess that brings in destruction, chaos. She is the goddess that brings everything to an end. And that's why right now, deep divers, it's a great time. It's a great time because we got to remind ourselves that, like I said, millionaires do not study astrology. The cat down the road does. Millionaires do not study astrology at all. Billionaires do. What? Slow motion this side. Because they know the stars govern everything. They know that we aren't the only ones on this, in this universe. They've always known that. And when you realize that the Scorpio season is going to bring a lot of cleansing to the planet in a good way. What might seem like destruction, what might seem like an end, is nothing more than a beginning. You're seeing it with wildfires. You're seeing it with the state of the planet. Because all of this has to be destroyed so a new earth can emerge. And a lot of people who are really tapped in, chosen ones, deep divers, they know that they're not worried about what's happening on the planet. They are protected. I'm protected every single day. I'm protected. Shout out to you. Kevin Howard, I appreciate you. Ralph, let's do a joint podcast on fulfillment. You know, shout out to everybody who's like, Ralph, man, let's do a podcast. Shout out to Kevin Howard. You know, like I always say, unity is what's needed right now. Email me, Kevin. We live in a world so fake The truth actually scares people. What? Slow motion this side. It doesn't scare the chosen ones, though. If you've wondered why sometimes you're different from your friends, it's got everything to do with information in your DNA, what you are coming in with. And this is why a lot of people can read about awakening, but they still don't get it. Because it's not about what you read about. It's about what you actually know within yourself. So when I started to realize this secret, I started to get it. I'm only talking to my tribe right now. You know, I have a lot of subscribers on this channel. What are we at? Like nearly 2 million subscribers? Right? The website's crazy as well. Many different kinds of people watch my videos, and that's fantastic. But a lot of people who are watching my videos is because I'm triggering something inside of them. A distant memory of freedom. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You see, I always knew, deep divers, that 2 million and rising, absolutely. I always knew that I was protected. And as a chosen one, you're always protected. Always protected. You see, one thing I started to realize, it was written, right? Everything has been written already. And as a deep diver, you know this. You know that the book of life has already been written. So you're not afraid of what's to come, because everything that's coming, you agreed to it. What? Slow motion this side. And this is the power of remembering who you really are. Many people have allowed themselves to wear this, to be in fear, to be afraid, to be terrified. Many people on the planet have allowed themselves to believe that this is the answer for them. And for me, I've realized, deep divers, like I always say, we ain't having it. It's amazing what fear can do. It's amazing what fear can do. It's amazing how powerful that frequency is. But it's not as powerful as love. That's the problem. It's just a lot more accessible. And this is why it works. A lot of people have heard of 1984 by George Orwell. And George Orwell talked about Big Brother, right? Big Brother is watching you. You know, that came from the book 1984. But the Big Brother George Orwell was talking about, it's going to be a different kind of Big Brother. The Big Brother is not actually going to be a big brother. It's going to be a tiny chip inside of you. It's going to be a tiny little chip. And this is why a lot of people are starting to say, actually, I'm not going to give away my power to the microchip that's coming. It's on its way, by the way. I'm not going to give my power away to this. It's on its way, by the way. It's so tiny. It's tinier than a hair on your back. Because that's what they have coming for you. And they'll tell you that, hey, it's for your safety. Shout out to all the chosen ones who already know what's up. You see, one thing I've realized, deep divers, shout out to everybody in the chat. Right now, you're seeing very clearly what I was talking about, what other people before me were talking about, that the Matrix is a prison. It's always been. If you are living in the control grid, it's an actual prison. And it's your job to get out of it. And then head up onto a mountain, align yourself, get into nature, remember who you are. But you have to realize it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very challenging for a lot of people to get out. Because the moment you want to get out, they entice you back in. They say, hey, let's make some money during quarantine. They say, hey, let's go to Hollywood, right? They say, hey, you're going to be the odd one out. And this is why a lot of chosen ones, even if you are awake, it can be tough because there's a lot of pressure to make a living. There's a lot of pressure to conform. Have you noticed, deep divers, a lot of people who are wearing face masks, right? In shops, right? If you don't have a face mask, because a lot of the times I don't wear a face mask. In fact, most of the times I do not wear a face mask in shops. But one day, a few days ago, I said, oh my gosh, I feel nervous right now. I should wear a face mask. Everyone else is wearing it. So the more people do something collectively, the more that affects your own reality, even if you are awake. And this is why you have to be aware of how conformity works. If the majority of people are doing something, other people will feel that they have to do the same thing. And that's how they get you with face masks. Because you walk into a shop, everyone else has a face mask. Now you're the odd one out. But you have to remind yourself, and this is what I always remind myself, is that you didn't come here to fit in. You came here to stand out, right? Be different. This is another exercise to be different. Shout out to everybody in the chat, deep divers. I see you. You are appreciated. Much love to everybody in the chat. I see you. You are here. Ali Berry, I hear you. Hugs, my friend. I hope you can find a way to be yourself, to be free. Everybody needs to do that. I'm already free. Every single day. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Mr. Gibrania. 1111, I appreciate the offering. Thank you for sharing your energy with the world. I'm truly inspired. I just shared your live YouTube session on my Facebook, and I feel like they don't deserve it. Let love guide you, not fear. Well, that's the thing. What you said is very, very interesting, because never cast pearls at swine. Never cast pearls at swine. There's a reason why secret societies exist. They always have, and they always will. There are many secret societies till this day. Freemasonry, all of these things. It's not a negative thing. It's just that they have information which they don't want the public to know about, because they realize that most people would not honor the knowledge, the information. In ancient Egypt, you had the mystery schools where they kept the knowledge hidden from the masses, and this happens till this day. Now, as a chosen one, as a deep diver, you are coming in with the sacred information inside of your DNA. You already know it. But you have to remind yourself, this is not for everyone. This is only for people who are ready to listen, who are ready to open their minds beyond just the 3D. Most people in the matrix aren't ready to do that. It's not personal. It's just that a lot of people in this society are new souls, which means everything has been reset. Everything has been reset. Everything is new. Everything they see is new. And this is why they can be easily manipulated. However, there are those who remember their past lives. There are those who remember that they've been here before, the chosen ones, and I'm back. There are those who already know that this whole thing is a complete joke. They've known it from when they were small. They were the odd one out in the classroom. All their friends were talking about sports, and they knew there was more to life. That was me. That may be you. And I want to remind you, it's not a personal thing. It's just that you are at a different level than those around you. You have outgrown those around you. And this is where it gets really trippy, because it's got nothing to do with age whatsoever. It's got nothing to do with how old you are whatsoever. It's got everything to do with what you are coming here to do on the planet. So always remind yourself, and this is what I'm always reminding myself, is that so long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're always going to be protected. You see, I tried to get away from my purpose, deep divers. I ain't told you this. You know, many years back, I said, hey, I don't want to inspire people. This was when I was young, right? 16, 17. I already knew what I was here to do, but I said, hey, let me just hang out in the club. And I had my inner voice talking to me. Ralph, you're not supposed to be here. Ralph, you're not supposed to be here. Ralph, you're not supposed to be here. Because I could see everything what was going on. You see, they call it a club for a reason, because you're being beaten to death. What? Slow motion this side. Now, I had other friends who were just dancing along, drinking liquor, putting themselves to sleep. And this is what the Matrix hopes that you do. It hopes that you forget everything. And it happens even with social media. Instagram, which is instant gratification. You know, the social media is another part of the control system. If you're not using social media to free your ass, you're only getting programmed by it. A lot of people, do you know, a lot of people wake up like this young lady, they wake up every single day and they don't feel good enough, they start comparing their body to other people's bodies. Oh, look at her butt. Look at his butt. They start feeling not good enough because they're seeing all of these celebrities living this so-called marvelous life. And this is what the chosen ones know. And that's why I told you, a lot of people right now are starting to wake up. They're realizing this whole thing is a great show. You've been at the movies. You better get outside, wake up. Right? Have you ever asked yourself, deep divers, why they spend millions of dollars creating illusions? What? Slow motion this side. Have you ever asked yourself, let me give a huge shout out to Kathy. I appreciate you. Have you ever asked yourself why they spend millions of dollars keeping this illusion going? Because the film industry is no different than the music industry. It's no different than the entertainment industry. No different than the sports industry. No different than the government. It's all part of the 1984. It's all part of the same system. I want to remind you, they want to go to Mars right now. It's all part of the same tree. I appreciate that 999. Tito, I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Deep divers, like I always say, you got a question, let me know. Let me give a huge shout out to Tito Marley. We are. Don't worry, I'm going to read it. We got a lot to talk about right now. We got a whole lot to talk about, deep divers. Let me bring some dolphins here right now, okay? Shout out to Tito Marley. We are divinely protected and eternally grateful. Speak your truth, even though your voice shakes. I'm speaking mine. Absolutely. This is the time to speak up. This is the time to speak up like never before. You see, and this is why the revolution is here. Because people are starting to speak up. But also, people are starting to wake up. You know, there's nothing to lose. Nothing to lose whatsoever when you speak up. There's only something to gain. Do you know how many people had something to tell you, but they never got a chance? Do you know how many people really wanted to tell you something, but they never got a chance? Because they were scared. And they still passed away without getting it out. The great Wayne Dyer said, don't die with your song still inside of you. What? Slow motion this side. Don't die with your song still inside of you. So if you are a deep diver, if you are a chosen one, you got to ask yourself, hey, am I speaking or am I just keeping quiet? And we know no one ever really dies though, right? Because we're immortal. But at the same time, you don't want to live this incarnation being silent. Your silence is consent. You see, the reason why a lot of people are like this on the planet, Who the hell is that guy? Who the hell is that guy, Deep Divers? Right? Oh my gosh, that's Hannibal Lecter. The reason why a lot of people are like that on the planet, like this, right, is because this is a symbol of this. You can't speak. You have no freedom of speech. You're just a mask. In other words, someone else's identity. And this is how the Matrix has operated for so long. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Deep Divers, we got a whole lot to talk about. We got a whole lot to talk about. This is how the Matrix has operated for so long. You see, a lot of people, and, you know, this person might be a chosen one. One of these people might be a chosen one. But when you are living in a world of clones, automatons, bots, it can take a while before you wake up. It can take a while before you say, what on earth am I doing? But right now, the chosen ones are starting to wake up. Uh-oh. They're starting to say, hey, all I need is a waterfall, a waterfall. All I need is just to dance in nature. That's all I need right now. That's all I need right now. That's all I need right now. And, you know, of course, a beach, right? That's all we need right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Deep Divers, I appreciate you. Talk to me. Let me give a huge shout out to Sue Tharson. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. What's good, Ralph? Found your channel through Spiritual Soul. Gazer. Thank you for the light workers like you for putting the youth on game. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And that's what it's about. Like I always say, right now, that's where it is. You know, it's the power right now is with the youth. The power right now is with the youth. And when you realize when the youth awaken, it's this. When the youth awaken, it is game over. And that's why I told you, everything is directed to the youth. You know, I was in a park. I was listening to some people play Cardi B, WAP, and these were children, young girls, 9, 10, 11. They're singing the lyrics. I'm like, oh, I get it. See, this is how the Matrix works. Everything is directed at the youth, the children, because they control the future. They are the future. And what's happening now is that a lot of creative people, artists, musicians, scientists even, you know, a lot of people are helping humanity right now because we are in spiritual warfare. And as a chosen one, you know that. But you know you're also protected every single day. I'm always protected. People say, Ralph, you better watch out. I say, yeah, for the cat down the road. Ever wondered why I've been able to have thousands of videos about everything? It's because I'm protected. It's because the universe is working in my favor. It's because I'm in alignment with who I really am. That's why the whole universe protects me every single day. Oh, baby. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. I can feel the love. Much love to everybody here. Mega Mikal the God. I appreciate the message, young God. I would love to learn about your background screen. Oh, I need to start my YouTube channel and continue to spread the message from the Most High. I appreciate that. Well, that's a great question. You know, deep divers, chosen ones. I do over 90% of my videos. Lynn Winters, I appreciate you. Shout out to Lynn Winters. I send you all the only thing that matters, my love, one family. I appreciate you, Lynn. I appreciate everybody here. That's a great question you asked, okay? Mega Mikal. I appreciate the message, young God. I would love to learn about your background screen. I need to start my own YouTube channel and continue to spread the message from the Most High. That's a powerful message right there. I do over 90% of my videos in nature for a reason, because there I can really, breathe in that good ass prana, baby. But I had to learn how to live stream. You know, I've mastered live streaming now. And when you learn how to live stream, like this background screen I have, I got a green screen here, but it's not just about the green screen. It's about the camera I'm using. It's about the microphone I'm using. It's about how to know how this thing works. So basically, I can go from here, right, to a whole party scene if I want. And that's the power. When you learn how to live stream, you can have a whole lot of fun. You can have a whole lot of fun. You can be in another place with the click of your fingers. Oh my gosh, where are we? I'm in an ocean somewhere. What's going on? Help me. If you want, you could go disco. If you want. I mean, it's a choice, right? Life is a choice. If you wanna go 80s, you can go 80s. Okay? If you want a smiley face, you can go smiley face, right? If you want to go to South Africa, you can go to South Africa. Right? It's a very powerful tool to learn how to live stream. Because you want to be able to get your message out to a lot of people in a few seconds and learn all the tricks. You know, everything in the Matrix was created by a green screen. Juice Harris, I appreciate that. Everything in the Matrix was created by a green screen. It's called movie magic, deep divers. What? You don't think I know Kung Fu? I know Kung Fu, deep divers. I'm in the Matrix right now. I'm in the Matrix and I'm in 1111 right now. Where do you want to go? Make up your mind, deep divers. Goodness gracious. I could be Star Trek. You know, with Captain Kirk. That's a great question. I always say, as a chosen one, you have to learn this technology. Even though we're nature beings, I'm in nature every single day, as you can see in my videos. At the same time, I know how to do all of this stuff. Video editing, Photoshop, After Effects, live streaming. I'm a cinematographer. So I know how to work the machine to get a message out there that can inspire millions of people. And this is why chosen ones, deep divers, this is why it's such a great time to be alive, because all it takes is just one video. In a few seconds, you could reach over 100,000 people. You can reach millions of people right now on YouTube. So don't underestimate the power of what this technology can do. If you use it the right way, it can help a lot of people out. It can help a whole lot of people out. That was a great question. Shout out to everybody in the chat, deep divers. So, like I said, What separates a lot of people is awareness. What separates a lot of people is remembrance. A lot of people are still in an infant stage of consciousness. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a solution right there. That's a great comment. Thank you. P. Lynn's World. I appreciate that. We must help future. We must help the future to develop agriculture. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got to work the land. You know, the biggest thing right now is a lot of people, you know, a lot of people are starting to realize we can't be dependent on the system. We got to learn how to grow our own foods, fresh vegetables, 7-day vegan challenge. We got to learn how to work the land so we can make ourselves a nice Buddha bowl whenever we want, right? We don't have to rely on the supermarket, right? We don't have to do that. Okay. We have to do that. You know, one thing I realized, because when I became plant-based over 15 years ago, you know, shout out to Dr. Sabi, you know, shout out to Dr. Tim Campbell, who wrote the China Study, great book. I realized that I want to learn how to be without, you know, and this is the path of a lot of chosen ones. They're learning how to give up stuff, you know, because everything in the Matrix is all about accumulating stuff. More stuff, like George Carlin said, stuff. You have to prepare for what's coming, because everything that they're getting to do with this COVID-19, they're getting you ready for the vaccination. They're getting you ready for the next lockdown. And as a chosen one, you have to remind yourself every single day that you didn't come here for this. I definitely didn't come here for this. I came here just to do a little samba, baby. But when you learn how to let go of all of these foods that you once used to love, right? A lot of people used to love all of these foods. They used to love hot dogs, hamburgers, these kind of foods, right? They used to love that. I used to love this. Happy Meals. I used to love that. Then I said, wait a minute. I got to do a detox cleanse. But when you're learning how to let go, you're learning discipline. If they were to shut down all the supermarkets today, a lot of people won't survive, because they like their Krispy Kreme donuts. They like their Coca-Cola, all of these things, which are in the supermarket. When you're living off the land, you just need a few blackberries and you're good to go. All you need is an apple and you're good to go. A few nuts, you're good to go. You can even eat the grass if you want. And that's why people who are growing their own fruit, people who are growing their own fruits and vegetables are doing something phenomenal, because they are able to see what's coming. You can't depend on the supermarket, and you can't depend on being addicted to certain foods, because when they stage that fake food crisis and they ration the food out, you're going to have a hard time. But if you are already weaning yourself off that, you got no problem whatsoever. Shout out to everybody who's diving deep. Deep divers, we're just having fun right now. Yeah, there was an actual woman who she had this McDonald's burger, which she had for 24 years, right? 24 years. That's something else. And that's why I tell you, a lot of the food in the Matrix is not even food. It's not even food. It's not even food. Let me see if I can pull that video up. But deep divers, like I say, free your mind right now. Because right now, shit's about to hit the fan. And by the way, there have been protests all over the world regarding this COVID-19 and everything that's happening. There have been protests all around the world.
So do you want to see my?
I just played a little clip of that, but she basically had a hamburger for 24 years. She took it out. It looks exactly the same. The bread didn't mold. The burger looked the same. That's 24 years old. So you got to ask yourself, are you even eating food? Is it even food? A lot of it isn't. And I noticed that, back in the day when I used to eat French fries, they stay exactly the same. Shout out to everybody diving deep once again. The biggest thing right now, I see happening is that people are starting, reality is starting to settle in. People are starting to realize that, things are really, face masks are becoming part of fashion right now. Right? I saw someone with a designer face mask, trying to show off. I'm like, I'm not impressed. What? Slow motion this side. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. CT777, I appreciate you. Why do you not preach enough about Bitcoin and crypto, Ralph? Bitcoin, crypto helped free me from the matrix. Then came fasting and organic seeded foods. Absolutely. I'm all for other currencies. You see, money, paper money, which has been used in the matrix, is on its way out. Cryptocurrency, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all of these things is giving other people another alternative means of exchange. But we have to also remind ourselves that it's even bigger than Bitcoin, because they want to make everything contactless. And I spoke about this in a video. They want a world without touch. And that's what this is all about. They want a world without touch, where everybody is afraid of touching everybody else. And that's why it's a lot bigger than Bitcoin. We have another issue on our hands. Humanity has another bigger issue on their hands, because the plan is to get rid of money. Within the next 5 years, there will be no paper money at all. And already it's happening. A lot of places already are saying, hey, we don't accept cash. It could have COVID-19 on it. They're saying, hey, only contactless. And that's the whole goal. So if everything is contactless, what does that mean? It means that they're going to have a social, just like in China, they have a social system, credit system. If you are a naughty citizen, they can take off points of your social credit score. Some people in China can't even leave the country because everything is controlled digitally. So if there's no cash, paper cash, if you walk into a shop and say, hey, I want that, someone can say, actually, just like sometimes your bank card doesn't work and you're there looking like a lemon, you got to phone up the bank. Hey, release my funds. That's what's going to happen. So we have to remind ourselves that we do need a new form of currency where we are having the power and it's not having the power over us. Danielle May, I appreciate that. It's incredible. Thank you very much. It's incredible when you do. It's incredible when you step into your purpose. The universe is waiting with open arms, absolutely, for the chosen ones to wake up. The blessings and synchronicities that happen when we awaken are indescribable. Woo! I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Beautifully said. Thank you so much for that, Danielle. Absolutely. It's incredible. Deep divers. Let me say that again. From Danielle. From Danielle's mouth. Okay. It's incredible when you step into your purpose. The universe is waiting with open arms for the chosen ones to wake up. The blessings and synchronicities that happen when we awaken are indescribable. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. You just said it right there. She said it, deep divers, when you step into your purpose. Sambo D, I appreciate that. What should we do before the world goes psycho? Please answer this. Stack up and grains and legumes, or just keep doing food, informational, TikToks. What do you recommend? Okay, that's a great question. That's a great question. That's a great question. What should we do before the world goes psycho? Deep divers, what do you think you should do before the world goes psycho? Is it not already psycho? Is it not already psycho, right? The great Krishnamurti said, it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. You know, society is very, very sick. The reason why is because it's never been cured. And many people are dealing with childhood trauma. Everything that's happening on the planet a lot of it is happening in a mad rush. A lot of abuse is happening with children on the planet. And this is why the planet is in a very bad way. Very bad way, because there's a lot of abuse that's been happening. You saw what happened on Jeffrey Epstein's island, Pizzagate, all of these things, you know, child sex trafficking, all kind of things. So you got to remind yourself that, you know, much justice and peace has to be restored. Much justice and peace has to be restored. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Deep divers, you are appreciated. You asked, what should we do before the world goes psycho? The world has already gone psycho. You just need to be in the world, but not off the world. Like I say, I'm in the world, I'm not off the world, right? Lessons have to be learned. Lessons have to be learned. The world has been psycho for thousands of years. It's not something new. The world is already psycho because many people on the planet have raped and pillaged other people. Everything is based on cosmic karma. In Australia, Aborigines wiped out. In Australia, in Tasmania, whatever goes around comes around. This is not what I'm saying. This is just a cosmic principle that everything, eventually the tables will always get turned. If you keep animals in a zoo, this is a question I'm asking you, deep divers. If you keep animals inside of a cage, what is eventually going to happen to human beings? Can somebody put it in the chat? If you keep animals locked inside of a cage, I used to go to the zoo. I hated it. If you keep animals inside of a cage, what do you think is going to happen to humanity eventually? It's called karma. One day humanity are going to wake up and they themselves are going to be the one in the zoo. Oh my gosh. They themselves are going to be the ones in the cages. You see what's happening in Australia? Lockdown, curfews, they can't even go outside. Well, we have to realize that it's called karma, and we have to break that karmic cycle by learning how to respect all life forms on the planet. Shout out to everybody in the chat, deep divers. That was a great question. What should you do before the world goes psycho? It's already psycho. Just make sure that you are not a part of the problem. Shout out to everybody who's here. Deep divers, I'm just warming up. I haven't even started yet. Oh, I'm just warming up, deep divers. I'm just warming up. Stretching the arms out, deep divers. I haven't even started yet. Day Lang, I appreciate that. I came across your video last night and was blown away. 10 reasons why you should not open your third eye. You opened my third eye to what I always felt like I had. My name is Deja. Thank you so much. Stay woke. Absolutely. I appreciate that, Day Lang. And, you know, a lot of people are starting to open their third eye right now. A lot of people are starting to wake up right now. A lot of people are also losing hope, and that's fantastic. By any chance, deep divers, are you losing hope in the system that you once used to believe in? Have you thrown in the towel yet? Have you called quit on the system? Are you like, screw this, man? Right. Well, that's where a lot of people are arriving at. That's where I arrived at many years ago. You know, I had to throw in the towel on the Matrix. I said, hey, it's over. It's over. Divine Feminine Queen, I appreciate the offering. Thank you so much for that. Let me give a huge shout out to Divine Feminine Queen. I appreciate the offering. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody diving deep. Deep divers were just warming up. I want to ask you a question in the chat. (1111) Kristen Taylor, I appreciate you. How do you see everything going? You know, if you are a chosen one, if you are a deep diver, how do you see everything going? How do you see everything panning out? That's the big question. How do you see everything panning out? Well, let me answer that for you. In the Matrix, it's only going to get worse. Out of the Matrix, it's only going to get better. That's simple. Who are the inorganic ones, Ralph? I often mention them, right? The inorganic ones. I've had experiences with other entities, let's just say that. And that's why I'm not afraid, because I already met them. And I know exactly who they are. I know what they talk of when they talk of devils and demons, and also what they talk of. Also when they talk of angels and archangels. I've seen these entities. See, there's a reason why in a lot of ancient texts they call people devils, or a devil and God. You have to ask yourself, where did this come from? It didn't just come from humanity's mind. It came from humanity's experiences with the forces around him. And when you realize that when you realize it's a lot deeper than just the devil and God, you know, that's just a smoke screen. Because a lot of the times I do this deep divers, right? Sometimes I do that in videos, right? That's 666 Illuminati, Ralph. And I told you. 666 is the number of the carbon molecule. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. Not only that, this is a Gyan mudra, which goes back to the Indus Valley. So a lot of people are illiterate. And this is what I want to tell you as well, chosen ones, you know. Okay. Let me type in Gyan, okay? Gyan mudra, right? Let's see what comes up. Let's see what comes up. Oh, what is that, deep divers? Those hand signs, can you see them? Those hand signs? That's Illuminati, Ralph. No, deep divers, it's called yoga. Because I know what you see, right? You see a lot of celebrities doing this, right? What, with the one eye? Let me search celebrity 666 hand sign. You see this, you see a lot of celebrities do that, right? So this is how they control you in the Matrix. These hand signs, right? Now, a question I have for you, deep divers. Do you think these hand signs have any power over you? What do you think the meaning of these hand signs are? Because I told you. You see, knowledge is power. And that's why I always say, you have to realize that these hand signs that you think are Illuminati, or you think these hand signs are people who have power, they have no power whatsoever. You've given them your power. What? Slow motion this side. So if you are somebody who watches my videos and you're still like, oh my gosh, Ralph, I can't believe it. Right? If you're somebody like that who's like, oh my gosh, these hand signs, the 666, right? This is how they control you. Because they know that you're going to believe anything you see. It's so easy. All you got to do is throw up that hand sign and you're going to say, hey, they're Illuminati. You're going to say, oh my gosh, they got some power, man. But that was just the bait. Because I told you, that is actually called a Jnana Mudra. And that's why knowledge is power. You got to educate yourself. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. Study yoga. This goes back thousands of years in the Indus Valley. Right? These poses. So if I type in, let me just type in Buddha, hand signs. Let's see what kind of hand signs Buddha does, right? Oh my gosh, deep divers. Can you see that hand sign Buddha is doing? So that's why I always tell you, educate yourself, educate your mind. And as a chosen one, we do that daily. That's why we're not fooled by Illuminati. I am the Illuminati. I'm the illuminated one, baby. What? Slow motion this side. I'm the illuminated one. That's what Illuminati means. It means illuminated one. And if you aren't illuminated, you're in ignorance. You're in the darkness, in the lack of knowledge. And the people who have the knowledge are doing this. Yeah, baby. That's what that symbol means. It's a symbol of knowledge. So you got to remind yourself, part of being a chosen one is to realize you're not afraid of all of these things. Baphomet. Oh my gosh, Ralph. Do you think I'm afraid of the Baphomet? Do you even know what the Baphomet means? I got to do a whole video on the Baphomet. A lot of people don't even know what these things are, what these entities are, what they represent, what they were created for. But that's why I say knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. As a chosen one, you're not afraid of anything at all. And this is why people are finding their power once again. But a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of the devil. They're afraid of all of these things. When you realize the devil and God are actually archetypes of yourself, representations of your higher and lower nature. What? Slow motion this side. So you actually have the devil inside of you. And you also have God inside of you. But if you have God, if you reverse it, what do you get? You get a dog, right? And do you know why that is? That's a question I'm asking you. Do you know why God is actually the big dog? Do you know why? Because I told you, the English language is one of the most advanced languages on the planet. The reason why is because the English language was not created just for people to communicate. It was created to cast spells. And that's why the English language, someone like a Shakespeare was what we call a bard, okay? In medieval England, you had bards, people who were, not everyone could actually read and write. Only certain people could read and certain people could write. Shakespeare was one of them. And that's why Shakespeare created hundreds of words in the English language, because he was a bard. B-A-R-D. He was a master of words. So when you realize the whole of the English language is a spell language, you realize that the people who created the English language aren't stupid. Because they've been spelling and casting spells on you from the moment you were born. That's why when a child goes to school, they learn how to spell. What? Slow motion this side. That's what it's all about. It's all about spelling. It's all about learning that these words are actually spells. And when you learn that, you start to open your mind. That's why I told you. Do you know why God, G-O-D, if you reverse it, it spells dog? Because God is actually the big dog. Right? God is actually the big dog who's running shit in the Matrix. But you ain't ready for that one, deep divers. You ain't ready for that one. Right? God is actually the big dog. And that's why they say, in God we trust. In other words, in the big dog we trust. And you do know, deep divers, a dog is a man's best friend. For a reason. Do you know why a dog is a man's best friend? Shout out to everybody in the chat, deep divers, right? So, like I say, shout out to all the chosen ones. Shout out to all the deep divers. Awareness is essential to realize that you're not dealing with people who don't know what they're doing. You're dealing with spellcasters, dreamcasters, who know exactly what they're doing. Witches and warlocks. You're dealing with people who know this is all an illusion. You believe it's real. They don't. They know this whole thing is a big illusion. They create the illusion. You're believing it's real. Right? So as a chosen one, you start to wake up to say, actually, this whole thing is a joke. This whole thing is a joke. You know, but at the same time, like I say, this information is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. That's why they have secret societies. That's why they have lodges. That's why they have mystery schools. Because this information is only for the chosen ones. It's only for people who are ready to learn the secrets. I was one of those students to say, hey, I want to learn. But knowledge is really the secret of everything. See, when you are aware of who you really are, when you wake up to say, hey, I know who I am. When you are aware of who you really are inside of you, you will never be on your knees. You will realize that there's no need for you to be on your knees. There's no need for you to be in fear. There's no need for you to to be warned. There's no need for you to look outside of your window every single day and say, come and save me. Because when you really know who you are, you realize one thing. Nobody in this matrix is coming to save you. This is Sparta. Nobody's coming to save you. You know, otherwise you would have been saved a long time ago. This is a game. Everything in the matrix is about deception. And I saw it as well, even on Instagram, you know. And when I started to realize that about Instagram, there's people who actually buy followers on Instagram. You see, everything in this matrix is so carefully crafted, like a fine piece of art. There are people who buy views. There are people who buy #1 records. There are people who buy avatars. Right? So one thing is that a lot of the chosen ones I've noticed, shout out to all the chosen ones, right? Shout out to everybody in the chat. A lot of people have started to even disconnect from Instagram, Facebook, all of these things, because they were designed to keep you competing with one another. Not only that, they were designed to steal your energy. Do you know how many people are on Instagram right now, are on Facebook? Millions. Do you know how much time people spend on these social media apps every single day? Just look at your screen time. Some people, average person spends 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours every single day just on a social media app. Now, this is why a lot of people get stuck in the machine. You know, I use these apps. I don't get used by them. You better pimp them. Don't get pimped by them. Because if you are spending the whole time on Facebook, you are now becoming a cyborg. Not only that, you are now altering your DNA. Not only that, you are now hating yourself because you're focusing on people who you think are better than you. So as a chosen one, a lot of deep divers, we already know that social media is also another trap. Facebook, Instagram. If you're not using it to educate yourself, what the hell are you doing there? You know, but that's another story. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. I have the Colosseum in the background, and this is very important. Rome fell. Why did Rome fall? Why did Egypt fall? Why did Greece fall? Because their time was up. The same thing is happening in the modern world. Everything you see happening right now with this COVID-19 is nothing more than a symptom of a civilization collapsing. And there's nothing anybody can do about it at all. It's just that time is up. Now they say, hey, it's COVID-19. We know that is something, right? We don't know what it is, right? We know that is something. And a lot of people, they know that it's like a total wipeout right now. It's like stay indoors. Do you know how much money they're losing? Why do you think they would want to keep you indoors? I mean, why do you think they would want to say, hey, stay indoors? They're losing money. But this is something far bigger than human beings, what I've been telling you. This is way bigger than governments. This is something which is, it's showing us this matrix is finished. That's what this whole COVID-19 is all about. It's bigger than COVID-19. The world you are living in is not sustainable. World you have created is not sustainable. It can't move. 7.5 billion people on the planet consuming more resources than are available. There's a huge problem. And that's why Mother Nature is wiping everything out. It's just how it has to happen. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to you, Christopher. I appreciate that. Christopher Humanity. No fear, RS. The gathering of the righteous reincarnated beings. Absolutely. No fear whatsoever. No fear. You know, I got this animation of a so-called virus like approaching a city, right? What does this remind you of? Because this is what they want you to be in fear of. Which other being approached a city like how this animation is doing? Do you know the name of it? Do you know another being, fictional being who just approached buildings? Think of that name. Godzilla. Thank you. Godzilla. Okay? Godzilla. Godzilla, right? So that's what COVID-19 is Godzilla. So you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. I do hope you're prepared. I'm prepared. And that's why throughout my own journey, every single day I was learning to let go. So many things in the matrix keeps us hanging on. What do you think the biggest thing is that keeps us hanging on? What is the biggest thing that keeps us hanging on in this matrix? It's because people have a fear of missing out. It's called FOMO, by the way, fear of missing out, right? That's why a lot of people, they check their phone every single day just to see what's happening. They check their phone, but they forget to check themselves. What? Slow motion this side. Right? They check their phone, but they forget to check themselves, deep divers. And this is why the Matrix can run the way it can run, because it knows if we can create these dopamine hits, we can plug you into the machine. And this is how they trap people's souls in the machine. It's been happening for a long time. And this is how the inorganic ones control the entire world. It's not that they're more powerful than you. It's just that they know you a lot better than you know you. They know you a lot better than you know yourself. They know that human beings are very greedy. They also know that human beings, what they love more than anything else is to be better than other people. And we see this time and time again. You know, like I said, in our society, and this is where the 11/11 awakening happens, right? In our society, we praise the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, right? We praise people like, very wealthy people. But we have to remind ourselves, these are just people. They're no different than you. There's no difference at all. Everybody bleeds red. So when humanity starts to realize we're all the same, and that's what a chosen one realizes. That's why you're the chosen one, because you realize there's no black or white, Chinese, Indian. These are all constructs in your mind reality, which has been programmed for you. And this is why they can rule humanity and play humanity like a fiddle. You see, if COVID-19 was to go away, do you think humanity's problem would go away? That's the question that's posed to you. If COVID-19 disappeared, do you think humanity's problems would disappear? Absolutely not. Why not? Because there were a lot of problems way before COVID-19 we didn't sort out. COVID-19 was just another problem. COVID-19 and vaccinations, that's just another problem. But it had nothing to do with what we already had accumulated. The problems we already had still weren't dealt with. So what's happening on the planet is not about COVID-19 or vaccinations. It's what we call the existential crisis, what Kierkegaard called the existential crisis. Right? The existential crisis is that you're going to die. We don't call it death. We're just moving from one dimension to the next. But that reality stares human beings in the face every single day. Not only that, but also people are growing up. Children are growing up. Not only that, your face is changing. You're getting gray hairs right now. Ladies, your ass is sticking out. Fellas, your belly's sticking out. It's what we call the metamorphosis. And this is why a lot of human beings have a very hard time dealing with it. This is the real issue. It's that everything you have, I'm so sorry, you can't take it with you. You mean my car, I have to leave it here? Absolutely. You mean all of these clothes? If I leave here, someone else is going to get them? Absolutely. My laptop, my computer, my iPhone? Yeah. If you leave here, they're someone else's, right? You mean my sports car I just bought for $60,000? Yeah. You mean my makeup set? Yeah. You mean my music studio? Yeah. You mean my cameras and my house? And yeah. All of that is going to go. Either while you're alive or when you're not. You're going to have to leave it behind. So this is the big reality people have to understand, that we don't own anything. This is what all the masters knew, that you have to learn what we call detachment. Even in relationships, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, we sometimes think that we own people. Let me give a huge shout out to everybody in the chat. Veganese Lioness Love 1111, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Tucker B, the end times are near. I appreciate you, Tucker B. The end times are near. Repent and come to Christ. This is no game. Many in this chat will be in an eternity of hell. Come to Christ and his word now. Thank you for the offering. You see what I'm trying to tell you, deep divers? Everybody has a whole different way of seeing things. And that's okay. Because everybody has a different level of consciousness. Everybody has a different level of consciousness. There is Jesus Christ. And then there is Christ consciousness. Two different things completely. There is the Son of God, S-O-N, and then there is the Son of God, S-U-N. Who would you say is the giver of life? If you didn't know any better, if you look outside, what source gives life to all? What source gives life to all of this planet? The S-U-N, right? Wait a minute. Is the sun, the S-O-N? So I told you, it's a work of art. It's a masterpiece because the English language is a very advanced language. You have double entendres, triple entendres, which is which, right? So if you say the Son of God, I don't really know what you're talking about. Which son are you talking about? Are you talking about the Son of God, S-O-N? Or are you talking about the S-U-N? Because I agree with you. You know, the Son of God is the giver of life, right? The S-U-N I'm talking about. I don't know the S-O-N. I only know the S-U-N. That's why I'm sun gazing every single day, baby. But, you know, right now, deep divers, it's a great time to be alive. Like I say, you know, just remind yourself that it's way bigger than even this so-called pandemic. That's not the issue human beings have to deal with. The issue human beings have to deal with was here before the lockdown. It was here before COVID-19. It was even here before face masks. Face masks are just another problem, another inconvenience, but they're not the problem, right? So always remind yourself that you have to go to the root and say, actually, the problem is the human condition. And this is what philosophers have been talking about for thousands of years. And a part of the human condition is impermanence. Is that everything is temporary. This is very frightening for a lot of people. And, you know, as human beings like to hold on to stuff. They like to collect stuff. They don't want to let it go. And you're going to have to let it all go. So shout out to you. Shout out to Tucker B. Shout out to everybody diving deep in the chat. Deep divers, we're having fun today. Oh, baby. We're having fun today. We're having fun today. But right now we have to really realize that we have to work on ourselves. And that's what chosen ones are always doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what deep divers are doing. To realize that we all have a lot of work to do in letting go of all of these things the Matrix promises us. I had to let go of a lifestyle inside the Matrix. You know, every day I would just go to a job and that's it. Come home, do the same thing over and over again. Then I said, wait a minute, something's not right. You know, a lot of people they're caught up in the glitz and the glamour, the Hollywood lifestyle, the celebrities, your favorite artists, the Drakes, Cardi B's, all of these people. You want to be on the red carpet. You want to sign autographs. You want to do all of these things. And this is why a lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening. Ariana Kriebel, I appreciate you. Shout out to Ariana in the house, coming in on the 11/11. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody diving deep. You know, so much good energy here, deep divers. We're just having fun. Like I always say, if you got a question, drop it in the chat. I'm here to answer them. This is the People Show. Ariana Kriebel, I appreciate you. Release, allow, surrender, focus, create. 999, end cycle, lessons learned. Time to rebuild, new earth through each daily action and intention. Woo! We got to drop a love bomb on that one. We got to drop a love bomb.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yes, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can always count on Ariana to drop those gems. Release, allow, surrender, focus, create. You know, letting go is not easy. But when you learn how to let go, you're not afraid of anything. You're not afraid of, for me anyway, you're not afraid of COVID-19, of anything that's happening on the planet, because you're not governed by the outside. And that's the big thing. You're not governed by the outside. See, most people, because they spend their entire life living for the outside, when there's a threat outside, they're always going to be feeling like a victim. What? Slow motion this side. Because most people are so caught up with outside of themselves every single day. When there's a threat outside of them, they will always be feeling like a victim. They're going to be in fear. They're scared. Because they only know outside. That's all they know. They don't know who they are. They don't connect with who they are. So a lot of people are always going to be in fear if you're always looking outside. And people who are going within, people who are really having an inner experience, inhaling the good ass prana, outside is not that interesting. You know, outside is cool, but it's got nothing on what's going on inside here. You know, the amount of things I've done with meditation. I've gone on trips, deep divers. I might have even visited you. Maybe, perhaps. You go on these amazing trips, but also you start to learn a lot more about how this universe really works. It's all mental. And this is why they don't want meditation in schools, because just 8 weeks of meditation literally changes your entire brain for the better. You produce more gray matter. You know, check out the work of Dr. Sarah Laza from Harvard Medical School. Meditation is the gateway out of this. What? Slow motion this side. But this is where you really know something is up. Because do you know that there are over 1 trillion face masks in circulation? 1 trillion. You know, countries have spent hundreds of millions just on face masks. Do you know all of that money could have been used to end world hunger? Stop it, Ralph. You're too real. Slow motion this side. Shout out to everybody diving deep. Once again, deep divers, I'm here for you. You got a question, let me know. One love to everybody in the chat. Oh, we're having fun today, deep divers. We're having fun today. And that was a great question. That's a great, great question. I like that question. Deep divers, you got a question, let me know. Just pop it in the chat and I'll read it. Aqua Davon. I appreciate that, Ralph. Hey, Ralph, how excited are you for the downfall of the world? Have you seen The Simpsons? Smithers? I'm like Mr. Burns right now. What does Mr. Burns do? Right? I'm like Mr. Burns right now from The Simpsons. That's how excited I am right now. I'm like Smithers. You see, we live in a never-ending world. I'm excited that the Matrix is crumbling. You know, Mother Nature is always here. You know, the world, Mother Nature, oh, that's always here. But the Matrix is over. I'm very excited about that. In fact, I had a party with a cat down the road. It invited its friends and we had a great time. You know, but, you know, I'm excited because I know that this system is unsustainable. It's like a caterpillar. It's on its way out. It's over. You know, the caterpillar, it knows when it's time to, when it's over. And that time the caterpillar knows it's over, what happens? It finishes itself in a process called apoptosis. 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 And then what happens? We get this thing, this amazing creature. What do we call it? Oh, yeah, we call it a butterfly, right? We call it a butterfly. It's off. It's out of here. And that's what happens. That's what's happening right now. So for me, like I say, it's a great time because it just means that, you know, more butterflies are being born right now. You know, more butterflies are being born right now. They're getting their wings back. And right now, there's no limit. The sky is not even the limit. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Deep divers were just warming up. That's a great, great message. Thank you so much, Ariana. Shout out to you. Ariana Kriebel, we should plan to have a weekly or monthly Deep Divers mass group meditation where we all tune in and visualize world peace and harmony. Woo! I'm excited about that. Deep Divers, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? I think that's a great idea. I think that's a very good idea. Shout out to everybody. Give thanks, deep divers. Ariana, thank you so much. Much love to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. The power of group meditations is super powerful. Super powerful. Like I told you, there were protests all around the world. Protests all around the world. People saying we ain't having it. And the reason why that's dangerous to the system is because I appreciate you. Gibson, thank you so much. Christ is God. I appreciate the offering. Ralph, I enjoy you. But only those who believe in the Son of God and his Father, the only God, are chosen. The Son will reveal himself to you. Believe. Oh, I believe, baby. I believe in the Son. The S-U-N, though. I appreciate the offering, though. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Deep divers were having fun. The problem why it's always dangerous for people to get together to the matrix, because the matrix is their artificial reality. The reason why it's a threat to the system, let me go matrix one time for you, is because when people come together, they create energy. You can create enough energy to destroy the whole matrix completely. But if people are isolated, if people are by themselves, if people are in fear, oh, the matrix keeps going, baby. That's how it keeps going. You need this to keep this going. You need this to keep this going. You need this to keep the matrix going. But the matrix is over. In fact, it's been over. Because the matrix only exists as a construct in your mind. Like Morpheus said in the Matrix, what is reality but electrical signals interpreted by your brain? And when you realize that everything is about electrical signals interpreted by your brain, you have to ask yourself, what is this iPhone doing to me? What is it doing to my brain? Your phone is watching you. What? Yeah, your phone is watching you. Do you know that you can actually turn on a phone remotely? You can actually switch on your laptop camera remotely. Oh, it's easy to do. They can turn on your webcam anytime and see exactly what you're doing in your room. Shout out to everybody. But one thing they can't do is access where you can go within yourself. This is what we call the firewall or the antivirus protection. They can't go where you can go when you are within yourself. What they can do is go into the information of the machine. They own the machine world. It's theirs. It's not yours. Chosen ones know it's not theirs. They know that the machine world is theirs because they can only live in an artificial reality. The artificial reality is the one of the cyborg. The artificial reality is the one of the bot, is the one of the soulless entity. Now, someone who inspired the film The Matrix, Philip K. Dick, who wrote Blade Runner, all these other great books, you know, he actually said, great writer, he noticed one day he was living in a matrix because a variable changed. And many people don't see that glitch, but the chosen ones see the glitches all the time. The glitch can be likened to the woman in the red dress. The glitch can also be likened to people that you think are people, but they are not people. They are actually machines. And, you know, a lot of people are slowly turning, even young children, slowly turning into the machine. And the machine is an entity. It's always been here. And like I said, check your screen time to see if you're turning into the machine. Check your screen time. Elon Musk said, you're already a cyborg. The plan with the Neuralink is to get a chip inside of your brain to make you a whole cyborg. Completely. And this is what this is all about. If you have a contactless society, you need something to scan. What better thing to scan than your forehead? And this is the end game for the Matrix. To turn people into soulless cyborgs who will be able to do exceptional things in their new robot bodies. But one thing they won't be able to do is have any humanity. What? Slow motion this side. And there's a reason why it had to come to this. You see, I told you, this is not about COVID-19. This is about singularity. It's about transhumanism. It's because, going back, human beings realized they were temporary. And human beings wanted to live forever. The only way human beings can live forever in this matrix, because I told you, a lot of people have an expensive Lamborghini outside of their house, and they know one day they're going to have to leave it behind. They don't want that. They want to drive the Lambo every single day for eternity. So the only way they can do that is if they become a cyborg. And that's why a lot of people are ready for it. They're ready to become the machine. And that's why everywhere you go, self-service, right? So within the next 5 years, everything will be automated, including cars. They already have self-automated cars in existence right now. They already have flying cars in existence right now. They already have cloud machines right now. You can actually change the weather if you want. Technology is around to do it. It's been here for eons. Easy to do. Right? There's even a video of clouds. You know, this cloud machine. This massive machine just creating clouds. Right? So you have to realize that everything that's happening is happening because many human beings, their egos have taken over. And to all the chosen ones, all the deep divers, you know, we've always got to be in our heart space. We've always got to be in that place right now. Because it's only in that space that we can really connect with who we really are. You know, the heart space, baby. Shout out to everybody in the chat, deep divers. You know, that's the thing about live streaming. We just have fun. But like I said, keep an eye out on what's going on with artificial intelligence, because that's what a lot of this is about. If you can have people wearing face masks, eventually, what are they going to look like? Can you name someone in the movies who had like a face mask? Can you give me a name, deep divers? Can you give me a name of any Hollywood film that had like a face mask? You know, I can think of a few right now. I can think of a few. Do you know any Hollywood film that had a face mask? Darth Vader, Zorro. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You know, but there's another one. It's not really a face mask, but it's more for suit, right? We call this the RoboCop. Right? RoboCop. This is what they're going to turn humanity into. RoboCop. Shout out to everybody diving deep. You know, because you do know. They live, absolutely. Silence of the Lambs. Absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, talking of Silence of the Lambs. You know, talking of Silence of the Lambs, you know, how is that any different from the current face masks? You know, I was even thinking of getting a mask like that, deep divers, because I'm afraid of this COVID-19, man. So we have to remind ourselves they told us in the movies what was coming. They told you in the film Silence of the Lambs what was coming with the character Hannibal Lecter. And you just have to look around and realize it's happening right now. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to you, Mega Mikhail the God. I appreciate that. It's time to detox your bodies and eat alkaline healing herbs. Learn how to disconnect from technology to handle EMF, aka free radicals, aka COVID-19. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Mason Brunson. $15 later, Ralph. Still didn't read my question. How do you feel about religion, specifically the NOI and Minister Farrakhan? I did read your question. Thank you so much. What do I feel about the NOI, Nation of Islam, Minister Farrakhan? For me, I always feel that, like I say, any religion is a control system. Minister Farrakhan is a very charismatic speaker. But at the same time, like I say, it's not about looking to people. You have to look to yourself. I'm just a guide. At the same time, there are a lot of faith groups, whether it's Nation of Islam, whatever it is, that have helped people tremendously. Even Christianity. Anything, like that. Because it's helped take people from a life of drugs, from crime, from violence. It's helped put them on a better path, which is also a positive. At the same time, there's another level beyond that. And that level is to free yourself of all of that. But shout out to everybody in the chat, deep divers. Shout out to all the chosen ones. Shout out to all the deep divers. Shout out to the cat down the road. Shout out to everybody diving deep. So I started off this live stream saying that there's nothing to be afraid of. And the only reason why you're afraid of something is if you've forgotten something else. This is why fear is created. It's created because people forget. And as somebody who is always diving deep, I'm reminding myself of who I really am every single day. That's my freedom ticket, deep divers. Because once I forget, it's over. Once you forget, it's over as well. A lot of people are afraid on the planet. They have forgotten. When you forget, everything is fearful. When you forget, you do anything to save yourself. I'll take that, please. But when you remember, you're just dancing around, hopping around, having a lot of fun, basking in the sunshine. You ain't got a worry in the world. And that's the power of remembering that fear is also a program which was installed into you. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Mason Brunson, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Deep divers, let's just loosen up with some high vibrational music, right? Let's go. We're enjoying ourselves, deep divers. Shout out to everybody. Raising the frequency, raising the vibration. Shout out to everybody in the chat. High vibes always. Let me give a huge shout out to Bree T. Ralph, what does the Luciferian movement? Okay, Ralph, where does the Luciferian movement fall in line with the Illuminati? Both have correlations to being the light bringers. What are your thoughts on this? Namaste. That's a great question. Deep divers, let me read that back. Where does the Luciferian movement fall in line with the Illuminati? Both have correlations to being the light bringers. What are your thoughts on this? Namaste. That's a great question. I would tell you this. Like I said, if you missed it, I'll do it again for you. Now, you've probably seen a lot of celebrities throwing up hand signs, right? A lot of celebrities throwing up the 666 hand signs. That's that devil worshipping stuff, deep divers. Do not do that. It's that 666 stuff, right? Illuminati, right? So, a lot of people see these symbols, these hand signs, and they think it's the Illuminati. Now, you also have hand signs. That hand sign is actually the Gyan Mudra. Just like this, that's the Gyan Mudra. It goes back to the Indus Valley over 5,000 years ago. You have to study yoga to study hand signs because they both go together. So this was before celebrities were doing it. Have you seen this symbol? Have you seen that symbol, deep divers? You've seen that symbol, right? The swastika. Do you know what the swastika means? Do you know where it comes from? Now, Hitler used it in the Second World War. That was the symbol of the Nazis, right? But it's a lot older than that. Once again, it's an ancient Hindu symbol. Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moshe. Right? So it all goes back to ancient India. Once again, I keep telling you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Shout out to everybody in the chat. There's nothing to be afraid of whatsoever. So, in a nutshell, the Luciferian movement is that just like somebody plagiarizes work, that's what they've done. You know, they've taken a lot of great symbols and they've put their own spin on it. Illuminati means illuminated ones. Illuminati are the illuminated ones. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. These are the people who are in the know of what's happening. These are the people who have the knowledge. You can see it in the word. Illumination. Right? Illuminating. If something is illuminating, what does that mean? It means it's shining. It's the light bearer. It bears the light. The Luciferian movement, you know, with the founder of the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey, and all of these people, a lot of these people, they wanted to break away from the traditional religions and form their own ones. Same thing as Scientology. Ron L. Hubbard, have you heard of the book Dianetics? You know, I was approached by Scientologists back in the day. They're like, you got to read this book. I said, really? You know, Scientologists got to sign like $1 billion contract, man. They said, do you want to be a Scientologist? I said, what's the contract like? They're like $1 billion years. I said, nah, I'm good. You have to realize that, going back to your question, there are things which start off with a very pure intention and then they reverse it. That's what the Luciferian movement is all about. It's about turning something good and making it bad. You know, so if you have a song like WAP, Cherry, I appreciate that. If you have a song like WAP, you know, life comes through a woman's legs. That's something sacred, right? But the intention behind that song is of a lower vibration. See, that's what Luciferianism is. It's about always turning something that's very pure and making it very impure. So always remind yourself there's always the original and there's always the copy. So like I told you, with the 666, that's actually carbon. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. Then they said, hey, that's the mark of the beast. So you have to remind yourself that, you know, the devil never wants to get caught out. You know, the devil is very clever, right? So the devil will have you believing the good guy is the devil and the devil is the saint. What? Slow motion this side. And that's exactly what they did, right? So I hope I answered that. Shout out to everybody in the chat diving deep. Deep divers, we're having a lot of fun. Like I said, if you are a chosen one, let me give a huge shout out to Romero. I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody. We're just warming up. Deep divers just getting started. We ain't even started yet. Let me give a huge shout out to Romero R. You know, so many amazing deep divers on this chat. I appreciate that, Romero R. Thank you, Ralph, for your beautiful energy. I pray for love and wisdom for the world. The children should be taught to live their gifts. I am grateful. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Absolutely. The children should be taught to live their gifts. And this is the big thing. You know, I want to say a huge shout out to all the people who are really realizing the youth of the future. This COVID-19 thing is not even for adults. They don't care about adults. They care about children. It's always about children, because you have to remind yourself, do you know there are actually COVID-19 babies? That's all they know. Not only that, the psychological trauma is going to be terrible. Because a lot of children, this is all they will know. They will only know a face mask and a vaccination. So shout out to all the people who are spreading awareness and saying, actually, I don't want my children going around like this every single day. I mean, what kind of a life is that? Remind yourself as well, deep divers. And this is the thing, shout out to all the chosen ones, deep divers. A lot of children right now, just with this whole pandemic, are being robbed of their childhood. Let me repeat that. A lot of children right now are being robbed of their childhood. They will never know what it's like to play with other children. They will never know what it's like to climb up trees. I used to do that, deep divers, and the monkey bars as well. I was pretty good. But a lot of children right now don't even know what it's like to play outside till the sun sets with other children. Have fun. Because now everyone's wearing a mask. So we got to remind ourselves that that could be your child as well, unless you do something about it. Because now it's not as bad as it's going to get. Now you see people in the park right now, on the beach. But as time goes on, like George Orwell said, if you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. Don't let it get to that. So right now, I'm always optimistic that humanity can turn this whole thing around. There's enough people who are awake to do it. The question is, are they ready to be the lion? That's the question. To be or not to be. Because the people, the inorganic ones, it's no mercy. They don't care. It's like, if you let them, they will do you like they did this nurse right here. Leave you exhausted by the road. This is the future for your children. Unless you stand up. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now, deep divers. We're just having fun. Meg, I appreciate that. Shout out to you, Ralph Smart, for helping us come together. You're live in my salon. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let me play some music for you right now. What music do you want? Let's play a bit of reggae. Let's play a bit of reggae, okay? For your salon right now. I hope you're dancing. Get on your dancing shoes. Let's go. Oh my gosh, you see what you see what you made me do? You took me all the way to the salon. We played some reggae music for you. We had some fun. I made you dance in the salon, you see. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sherry123, I appreciate you. DKK, I appreciate the offering. You say to live in the present. This means literally every second. How can you have a self-dialogue which helps you find answers when you have to focus being present? Where is the balance? That's a great question. A lot of us, we're always moving back and forth like a pendulum. And this is why a lot of people can't sit still. Why a lot of people can't silence their mind. And the secret is, don't argue. You know, this is the reason why a lot of people cannot silence their minds, because they're always arguing. Always arguing. And one of the ways I found out how to silence my mind was to not argue, because your mind is always going to win. It's always going to win. It's always going to win. Do you know why the mind is always going to win? It's because there's a little monkey inside of your mind. They call it the monkey mind. And that monkey mind is always right. It's always going to win. The only way to stop the monkey mind is to give it a banana. That's the only way. In other words, you have to let it talk itself out. Eventually it will fall asleep. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Deep divers, I've got so much energy. I'm just warming up right now. And that's the thing. You know, one thing about the chosen ones, a chosen one is a being who remembers who they are. A chosen one is somebody who came here to help the planet ascend, to help humanity ascend. And shout out to everybody who's doing that along their journey, helping other people. Shout out to everybody diving deep. Once again, we're just chilling. You're tired of being a slave. Be free, baby. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. That's a great question. A very important question. Someone said, "Hi, Ralph. I plan to start a job as a YouTuber, perhaps doing cover songs. Do you think it's a good moment for this kind of job?" Absolutely. This is the best time to start on YouTube, because COVID-19 shut everywhere else down, right? Go for it. I always tell people, if you are ready for abundance, if you are ready to expand, if you are ready to meet amazing people, start a YouTube channel. No, YouTube is not what it used to be. I started on YouTube when it was fun, very fun. It's still fun, not as fun as it used to be, but still it's okay, you know. But YouTube is a great place to start, you know, start it. There's a reason why people are on YouTube more than any other platform when it comes to video content. I've got my own website, but I know the power of YouTube. There are millions of people on YouTube every single day. Shout out to all the chosen ones. Shout out to everybody who's diving deep once again. So being present right now is so essential. You know, take time to be present. That's what I'm doing. You know, take time to be off Instagram. Take time to do all of these things, because when you are connected to yourself, your life gets better. Letitia T, I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody here. You know, one thing as well, deep divers. A lot of chosen ones often feel like the odd ones out. They often feel like they don't fit in. And it's because a lot of chosen ones, a lot of people who know the truth inside of them, they've got a choice to make. You see, being a chosen one is not the end. It's just the beginning. You have to say, actually, because I know, what am I doing? There are many chosen ones who are going to work a job they absolutely hate. There are many chosen ones who are just in the system. They don't like it, but they're in it. But they don't know a way out. They don't feel they can get out, and they can. I'm here to tell them that. Bree T, I appreciate you. My boyfriend Willie watches you regularly. He wants to know your thoughts on the chakra system and the cerebral spinal fluid Kundalini rising. That's a great question. In fact, I'll do a whole live just on Kundalini and chakra systems. But, you know, I've experienced the chakra firsthand. I got videos on the chakras. We have to remind ourselves we are energy bodies. And this is what the chosen ones know. We are pure energy bodies. And, you know, speaking of the chakra system, this, when you realize when the energy flow inside of your body is at optimum, it's because your chakras are aligned from the base all the way up to the crown. From the base all the way up to the crown. From the base all the way up to the crown. You know, I've made videos on sexual energy and raising the energy up. There's a serpent right at the bottom of the chakras, at the base, the Kundalini energy, and it rises when the sexual energy rises up. And that's why a lot of spiritual masters, they practice abstinence. You know, they say no FAP, right? Semen retention, all of these things. Because when you do semen retention for a long time, the Kundalini energy rises. And that's why a lot of masters, they knew that secret. You don't bust a nut. You let it raise up. And then the energy is even more powerful. But it's just about raising the serpent, that's all. You know, let the snake rise. I hope that answered it. Shout out to everybody who's here diving. Deep divers, we're having fun right now. We're having fun right now. That was a great question. I'm going to do a whole video on chakras. One love to everybody in the chat. Deep divers, like I said, if you got a question, let me know. Put it up there. Mason, I appreciate that. So religion is a stepping stool to your highest self. So religion is a stepping stool to your highest self. Absolutely. I truly believe that. You see, I was raised in the church. And, you know, like I always say, let's go to Egypt right now. Like I always say, all of these things are tools. You know, religion is a tool but it should never be the end goal. I appreciate that guy with a fork. It should never be the end goal. More people have been killed in the name of religion than all the wars combined, you know. And that's the difference. More people have been killed in the name of religion than all the wars combined. It's a stepping stool, but it's a large step you have to take, because the plan is that you don't take that step out. And the chosen ones don't bow down to authority figures. There's no worship here. We're all the same. What? Slow motion this side. But a lot of organized religions, there's always someone higher than you. They're looking down on you. You got to look up to them. And this is why the matrix keeps going, because it's built on I'm better than you. And the chosen ones can see through the BS of that. At the same time, there's a lot of wisdom in Christianity, in all of these religions, because they are taking spiritual wisdom from ancient Sumeria, ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. So they are based in a lot of truth. At the same time, many of them are used to enslave humanity. Like, who said religion is the opiate for the masses? Right? Do you know who said that? Do you know who said religion is the opiate for the masses? Do you know the name of the person who said that? Right? Well, he said that for a reason. Right? Karl Marx said that, right? Religion is the opiate for the masses. Very true statement. So it's about being free. Shout out to everybody diving deep once again. In the chat, we're just warming up. Deep divers, I'm here for you. You know, I'm back with the live streams, baby. Guy with a fork, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're in the middle of a tomb right now. In the middle of a mystery school right now. I appreciate that guy with a fork. Sending good vibes to you and all the deep divers. You are appreciated. I appreciate that. And once again, like I say, let me give a round of applause to everybody who is just diving deep, putting out those good vibes. I appreciate everybody here. And that's the thing. What I always say, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. If you are watching my videos, if you've been watching my videos, it's because you're already on your journey. You're a chosen one. Anybody on this live stream is a chosen one. If you've been diving deep and doing your own inner work, you're a chosen one. If you're waking up, you're a chosen one. And anybody can be a chosen one if their eyes are starting to open to see what's actually happening on the planet. And they're standing up to say, hey, we ain't having it. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. It's cat down the road science, deep divers. You know, a lot of, and this is why I'm here to help chosen ones, you know, here to help people who really get it and feel stuck. Erica Granberry, I appreciate that. You know, let's take a moment of appreciation, deep divers. Let's take a moment of gratitude. Shout out to you, Erica. I appreciate that. Erica Granberry, grateful for you. Grateful for you, Ralph. Grateful for you, Ralph. Thank you for all you do. I'm grateful for you too, Erica. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, thank you. The cat down the road is saying thank you. The cat down the road told me it just wants to thank you right now. Where is the cat down the road? Can somebody find the cat down the road? Is kind of nervous right now. Right? I'm looking for the cat down the road. Okay, Erica. The cat down the road is saying thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. One love to everybody in the chat. Deep divers, we've been having fun today. I appreciate that. You started watching me at 50,000. And that's what I'm talking about, deep divers. There are so many people right now who are starting to see the secret. You see, if you keep doing something, down the road, oh, you're going to be laughing. You're going to be laughing. And that's why I'm telling you, I've seen it from the start, from the genesis to where I am right now, and I'm still here because I'm patient. Someone's saying, Ralph, I saw you when you only had 50,000 subscribers. Right? A lot of people say, Ralph, I saw you when you only had 100 subscribers. We've come a long way. I'm proof that it's possible. You can do it, deep divers. You can really do it. You see, and this is a little secret. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Yannick, I appreciate that. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you so much. 777. Sagala. Dives. Thank you so much. Angel Bunny. It's crystal clear that what's important now is to lift others with positive energy and not feed into the collective with fear. I've been doing my work. I love that. Let me pull your message up, okay? Because I love it so much. Let me pull your message up on the screen, baby. On the screen. Angel Bunny 9, I appreciate that. It's crystal clear that what's important now is to lift others up with positive energy and not feed into the collective fear. I've been doing the work. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Angel Bunny 9. Absolutely. That's what's important right now, to lift others up with positive energy and not feed into the collective fear. I've been doing the work. Absolutely. I want to remind you, deep divers, you can do it. You can do it. Because right now, even on YouTube and all of these platforms, there is such a huge opening. There's a lot of people just making videos on video games and hair, makeup, all of these things. But not a lot of people talking about waking up, awakening, becoming your greatest version. Not a lot of people doing that. And we got to remind ourselves that right now, there's a huge opening for people to see that all around the world. All around the world right now. I appreciate that. Greetings to the cat down the road. Grandy Taz, I appreciate you. So I want to remind you, deep divers, if you are somebody who had an idea to start a YouTube channel, I meet people like this every single day. I'm encouraging you to start one because your voice is needed right now more than you know. Your voice is needed right now more than you can imagine. So don't be afraid of what people say, how people perceive you. Realize you are not only going to change other people's lives, you're going to change yourself in the process. BP, you've been saying, can I get a hello there? All right. We got to have sounds that are good for the soul, deep divers. You know, can I get a hello there is extremely good for the body, heart, and mind. Take at least two of that a day. That's the medication. Go on that can I get a hello there medication, deep divers. I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody here in the chat. BP, I've been saying, can I get a hello there with you for 5 years? Thank you for reminding us all of our light. That's wonderful. I appreciate you so much. You know, keep saying, can I get a hello there? You know, keep doing what's good for the soul, baby. Deep divers, you are appreciated. Shout out to all the chosen ones. You know, we're having fun, deep divers. I just want to say a huge shout out to everybody who's joined us on the live. That's why I'm just saying, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello there? Deep divers, I'm just, woo, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Sending you tons of good ass energy. Take that, take that, take that. Peace, infinite waters, diving deep. To everybody in the chat, I appreciate you. Yolanda 333 Ralph Smart, I appreciate you. Like I said, deep divers, get more information in the new book Feel Alive by Ralph Smart on Amazon and at ralphsmart.com/the-book, and check out the clothing at ralphsmart.com/clothes. The good ass prana shirts. And like I say, deep divers, if you have a question as well for me that you didn't get here, it's simple. Just make sure that you Instagram me. Is that simple? If you got a question, at official Ralph Smart, just Instagram me right now. Add me there. So, like I said, deep divers, we had fun. We had fun. I'm sending everybody lots of love. Deja Jones, okay? We ain't finished, deep divers, okay? We're just warming up right now. Let me give a huge shout out to Deja Jones. Breathing in that fresh ass prana, baby. Thank you, Ralph, for all you have done. I appreciate it. Take that, take that, take that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody, deep divers. Like I say, let love guide you, not fear. Shout out to all the chosen ones. Keep on your path. You are protected. You are cared for. You are loved. The cat down the road loves you. You ain't got to worry about nothing. I'm here for you. Universe has got your back. Speak your truth. Don't let anybody stop you, okay? And stand up for your rights. Say we ain't having it, okay? I love everybody in the chat, okay? You are amazing, okay? Love is the answer, deep divers. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. Keep that alive. May you have a beautiful day. And deep divers, thank you for joining us on the live stream. I'll be back again tomorrow in nature. So turn on the notifications. And, you know, let's just vibe out to some reggae, deep divers. I love all of you. Let's go. Oh, you thought we were finished? We ain't even started, deep divers. We're about to do another live stream, baby. Go and tell a friend. I love you all, deep divers. You are appreciated. Keep diving deep. I'm here for you. One love. Have a beautiful day. Thank you to everybody. You are appreciated. Let's go.